Oh, here we are. You join me down Barron's Pond for another episode, and today we have literally got a lake exclusive. No one else on for the day, for the night. So we've got every peg available and we can use the lake to the best of our ability. I do think this is going to pay off. If something's not happening in one swim, we can move, we can dot the rods about. There's no worries about other people turning up. So what I'm going to do is I'm having a walk around now, just trying to locate some carp, and then going to get some bait in on them, get some rods out first before we even set up the bivvy or anything, and hopefully we can have an action packed session and we can land a few carp. So I'm going to unload the car, settle on a swim, get the rods out, and I'll come back to you then. So with it being a very cold day, with single figure temperatures, 5 degrees, the last few nights have got into -2, been very cold, and the wind is hacking down to the end of the island. So I do think that's going to push the carp up to the other end on the back of the wind, because it's going to be slightly warmer. Seen a few more fish down that side, so I'm going to go for a peg more down that end, away from the front of the wind. It's going to be very cold down this end, and I really don't think they're going to push down this far. So I'm going to walk down the 3 pegs down the other end, sort of from the point swim back to peg 4, have a little look and decide down that way. But I think this side of the lake, this half, is a no-go. Haven't seen any movement at all. So here we are, I've opted into peg 4. As I said about the prediction of the carp pushing to the back of the wind, where it's going to be slightly warmer, I've got that spot on. There's carp down here, they're showing themselves. Did get the bivvy up first. It's a small swim, I didn't really want to have everything in the way, so I got the bivvy and the bed chair out the way. Then moving on to the rods now. I'm going to go get some bait in on them spots, sit back for half an hour, make sure they're definitely down here, they're up for a feed and I'm in the right area. Then we're going to get some rigs over them, hopefully first time, nice and quietly in there without them really knowing that it's gone in, and hopefully we can bag a few fish. The rig I'm opting in to use is a Slip D Ronnie rig that's with a barbless long shank beaked in size 4, running into a 3-ounce inline pear lead and a 1.5 foot of rig tubing. The baiting approach is with a Snowman, that's a 15mm salty squid bottom bait, topped off with a krill and garlic 12mm white pop up. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to put a bit of foam over there to stop any tangles on our Slip D section, and as it's going in, so they can go bang on that spot, I can be confident with them and they can be sitting there ready for the carp. So hopefully we can bag a few fish this session, follow the session through, and hopefully we can bag some carp. So let's go get some bait in, get the rods in, and see how it goes. So I'm just walking around to the far side on the back bank spot on that margin, the rod that we're going to be fishing nice and tight. Walking around with the bait, as you can see, mainline salty squid, 15mm. Just going to go bait up that spot. I am going to go for a fair bit of bait. They're in the area, so I want to keep them there. So get the bait in there, hopefully get them feeding confidently, and then get the rods in nice and quietly, first cast straight on there, and hopefully we can bag some fish. So what I've done there is I've got a nice scattering across this whole margin, about a rod length out, nice and tight as well. Big bed of bait scattered about, so we can get them coming in on the area, hopefully feeding in numbers. And if we are hooking one down this end, not spooking the ones down to the other end of the margin, that's the plan of attack for that rod. Let's see how that pans out. We've got the bait there, we've got some carp just out in front, about by a rod length, hopefully going to draw them in with that bait. And now we're just going to go around, bait up the other spot, and then get the rods in on top of that. So spot number 2 is just down this margin, nice little bay there. I'm going to go about 2 rod lengths down the bank, and then just off a stump that's down there. It is a snag, we've got to be careful to avoid any hooked fish going in there, but they do hold up under there, and the way to pick them off is going to be by fishing close to it. So I'm going to introduce some bait there now, get that rod out first, get the far bank rod out after, and hopefully it won't take too long before we see our first bit of action. there we are, rods out, spot on, very confident in them. Left hand rod, just before I started recording this, had a liner, bobbins pinned up about 3 times, slight little movement, so I've watched the line move a little bit of fizzing over there, so there's definitely carp in the area. There's a fair bit of bait there, so I'm going to give them a little chance to have a little feed on it, and then hopefully we could bag one. If not, in a couple of hours time, every couple of hours, I'm just going to ping over a couple of baits. There we go, another liner. Couple of baits to keep them interested, keep them plopping down, trying to get them to get on them spots, feeding confidently. I have just got a bucket full of the boilies and washed them out in hot kettle water to make them more digestible and soft. This time of year it's easier for the carp to digest, so they'd be happier to sit there for longer and feed on a bait that's soft. They can digest quickly, and they break down as well a lot quicker than straight out of the bag. So hopefully in that way we can get them happily feeding and staying on our spots for a longer period of time. So the rods have been out for about 20 minutes and I've been getting constant liners on the left hand rod, and then just then I've had a couple of beeps pinned up and I've watched the tip go a little bit, and I'm watching it and it's going beep beep, and then the bobbin's going up slowly, then it stopped for a minute, and then it started going a little bit more and the bobbin's gone up pretty high, and I'm not too sure what it was. It was either very savage liners, but it was enough for me to pick it up. It looked like something was on there. A fish could have been mouthing the bait, I don't know. We could have lost one, but it gives me a lot of confidence that the fish are in the area. Unfortunately, it picked up and I didn't even feel anything. It was just rig come in, so I clipped that back up, straight back on the spot. I fired a couple of baits over the top with it, and again another liner on it straight away. So I'm really hoping the carp are feeding down there in numbers. So here we are, first fish of the session. It took about half an hour to get this first bite. Cracking fish, low double there. Look at the scales on it. Come to what I've showed you on that snowman presentation over that scattering of bait from the far margin. Rod's already back out on the spot. Slip this one back and hopefully we can bag more like this one. But the sun's just going down, it's nearly dark now, it's about 4:30. We come down about 1 o'clock, got the rods out at 2 o'clock, so a couple of hours fishing so far. We've had one, there's still signs going on of carp in the area, so I don't think it'll be long until we get our next one. So that's our evening update. If anything happens during the night, I'll let you guys know. If not, I'll see you first thing in the morning. Wow, good morning. I managed 2 fish last night. It was freezing cold, the temperatures dropped below 0, the sling was freezing up, bucket of water turned into complete ice, and the 2 fish were single-figured fish, probably around like the £9 mark, maybe pushing 10, and I didn't really want to be getting them out. There wasn't nothing special. I didn't really want to spend too long outside with them as it was so cold. But this morning we have had a complete change in weather. It's currently now 10 degrees. It's completely warmed up. It's going to be up to 15 degrees today. Storm bursts coming through, 60-mile-an-hour winds, heavy rain. I'm going to sit here for a couple of hours. I don't really want to push it too long because I've got to be somewhere later, but this could change the fishing. The wind is hacking down into our corner, but with warmer temperatures and a complete new air pressure system coming through. I don't know how this is going to pan out. I might sit in here for a couple of hours, see if all of this weather changes anything. if I have nothing, maybe go down to the other end, just see if they've pushed down there, try and pick up a bite down there. But I don't really want to be here beyond 12 o'clock, so there's about 4 hours left really. So the winds are really picking up now. It's getting a bit mental out here. Let's talk about air pressure. So last night it was 1025, which is generally a high air pressure system. I've not to fish in it. It's around average. Like, you will catch carp in it. It's nothing too high. But from 125 to today, it's going to drop down to 998, which is a very, very big difference. And in these lower temperatures, stormy weather, them carp really tend to get their heads down and feed, which is the plan. But I don't know if there's long enough. It's only just started coming through, this weather front, so the carp will be trying to get used to the change, I believe. But with all fingers crossed, it just changes it up a little bit, and we can bag a few fish this morning, maybe go at a big one just to finish off the session. That would be a nice thing to do. But I'm just about to reach up the rods. I'm gonna clip them back up, get them out there, a bit more bait over the top, and then liner there, and then yeah, hopefully we can bag a few more carp. So with the storm getting worse and worse on the weather forecast, the lake owner has decided to shut the lakes. Still allowed on for a few hours. It just means no one's going to be turning up. So I've literally had a 24-hour lake exclusive, but the carp haven't really been up for it, to be honest with you. I've managed 3 of them so far. I do think there's a chance of another bite. I may go on a little move in a bit and try and find a couple of them, but can't really take the piss, excuse the language, and stay for too long. Have to be off by 12 ideally. That's when the ticket runs out as well, and with him closing the lakes, got to respect that and just move on. Not that I was going to stay any longer anyway, it doesn't really affect me at all, but it has been nice having the whole lake to myself. I haven't really used it to the best of my ability, and that's why I do want to go for a little walkabout and find them and do a couple of hours and another peg. There we go. I think these weather conditions are definitely starting to turn things on. The carp are being more active. We've had a run within 5 minutes of a recast. Fully scoured there, absolutely stunning carp. Look at it. The other side's just as good as this side. Rods are already back out. I created an opportunity. I saw a few further down the bank and I got it out there straight away on top of some fish, and as a result we've landed this one, probably about 15 pounds. Show the other side, slip her back, and hopefully there's a few more like this to come, if not bigger. There we go, there's our other side there. Stunning carp. Let's get her back. Here we are, fish number 5, within 10 minutes of the other rod going. Got it back out. 10 minutes later, landed another cracking scaly mirror. That's 5 mirrors now, no commons at all. Let's slip her back again. Hopefully the big uns are on their way. It'd be nice to finish the session on a big un, but not going to complain. I've had a cracking session. At this time of year they all count. So unfortunately I have just dropped a fish. Hook sharp. I just think it maybe wasn't hooked properly, but going to get that rod straight back out there and on that spot. That's the 3rd fish in about half an hour that's been hooked from that spot now, so get her back out there and hopefully we can bag another one off there. So the spot that's basically doing all the fish at the moment is this margin here, and the one just down to the left of it down there. That's 3 runs there this morning. We've had 6 total runs this session, maybe 7. I'm not too sure what happened with that liner yesterday, but landed 5 of them. We do unfortunately drop some every now and then. It happens to the best of us, everyone does it, but it's just starting to rain. I think this weather's really turning them on, so going to stick it out for another 2 hours and hopefully we can bag a couple more and one of the big uns. Here we are, fish number 6. The storm's really kicking in now. It's getting rainy and windy. Not a bad one, this one. Another fully scalped mirror. Look at that. Rods are back out. I'm going to have to start packing down. It's getting a little bit too much, and we're going to overstay our stay if we don't start packing down soon. It's been carnage. Couldn't ask for a better session. Let's just hope that bigger one turns up while I'm packing down. Slip her back. Fish number 7, slightly better this one, slightly bigger. cracking winter colours on it, and a couple of single scales. The other side's got a complete single scale on it. Over the moon with this one. Ripped off, I've packed the bivvy down, absolutely everything, just down to the rods, and it's gone again. And I have got that rod back out again for one last chance. If it comes in, it'll be staying in. But what a session it's turned out to be. Most of our fish have been all landed this morning. We've made a proper comeback on this one. So I'm basically fully packed down, just the rods and the nets left to go. I'm going to call the end of the session there unless they tear off while I'm bringing them in. But what a session it's been. We've been up against it. We've had freezing cold conditions, frost, and then it's completely changed, slightly warmer. Bloody, the winds are just going at it. We've had a bit of heavy rain this morning, and we've made a proper comeback and landed some cracking scaly carp. Proper session, that's what it was all about. Did think that they'd end up being down this end of the lake, and as they were, they obviously in numbers, because this morning I haven't been able to keep that rod in the water. Every 10-15 minutes it's been tearing off. It's currently 11:30, and yeah, so I'll see you guys in the next episode, hopefully next weekend. So see you guys then.